Hey everybody, welcome to another episode in a series of videos demonstrating the Dell Apex Cloud platform for Microsoft Azure's consistent hybrid management experience. If you're new to Apex Cloud Platform for Azure, you'll want to check out the links to some binge-worthy content I've included in the video description below. These resources provide introductory information and highlight what's new in our latest release this month. And in this video, I want to demo a couple capabilities that are part of this new release. First, Dell and Microsoft Engineering have collaborated to seamlessly integrate a new Dell Apex Cloud Platform workbook into Azure Monitor Insights for Azure Stack HCI. Then we've introduced a feature called Node Repair and Replace in our Dell Apex Cloud Platform Foundation software version 1.01. So let's dive right in. So I've navigated to the Insights page of one of my clusters, and notice there are two workbooks here that I can enable on my cluster. One is created by Microsoft for monitoring REFS deduplication and compression. The other is our new workbook we named Event Monitoring for Dell Apex Cloud Platform for Microsoft Azure. The Dell workbook provides the ability to monitor events generated by the cluster hardware and the Cloud Platform Manager VM, all from within the Azure portal. It's really all about accelerating the detection and resolution of issues, empowering you to effectively manage and optimize your clusters. So I'm going to choose to enable the Dell workbook. And the page will refresh in just a second. And now I see the monitoring status of this feature set to enabled, and I can just click on the feature name. This takes me to an overview of the feature, and then I'll click on the Health tab. Now, it appears that a CPU error has triggered a critical alert on node 4, which has taken the node down. For the purposes of this demo, let's assume that this critical hardware issue has rendered cluster node 4 completely inoperable. Now notice I can link and launch to a knowledge base article that will provide further details about the event. We've made it easy to restore a cluster to full health after a cluster node has experienced a failure that requires the server operating system to be installed. This is our node repair workflow, and you would use the same workflow for node replacement as well. So let's drop down into Windows Admin Center to see this in action. So the server's extension confirms that the node is down. So I proceed to the Dell Apex Cloud Platform extension and see various alerts, which match what I saw in the Dell workbook in Insights. So I'll browse over to the server's inventory to get this node repaired. Now, the first thing to note is that this is a Dell support and services led operation. So getting the OS reinstalled on this node first requires the use of the Node Image Management Tool, or NIM, that only Dell support has access to right now. So on this screen, we're confirming that Dell support has used the NIM tool to factory reset this node to its original bootstrap operating system. And here we indicate that we want to reuse the existing data disks. So the workflow performs some pre-processing tasks to ensure that the factory reset node is capable of being added back to the cluster after the automated reinstallation of the Azure Stack HCI OS. Then our automated node discovery process kicks in and finds the node. Now, the next couple of steps validate that the Azure Stack HCI image version that is staged on our factory reset node matches the server version currently running on the cluster. I don't need to provide a host name or IP address because our software already has that information from when the node was healthy. I just need to insert a local administrator password. Then I spot check my rack location and the network ATC intent settings for this cluster node. Now the workflow performs validations to confirm proper network connectivity and disk health on the node. And I can go ahead now and repair the server. I watch the progress of the repair operation, which includes installing Azure Stack HCI, configuring the network and storage, adding the node back into the cluster, and performing post-repair health checks. If any errors were to occur during this process, I would be presented with a retry button, but in my case, the operation succeeded. I'll browse to the physical view to see the healthy cluster. And I'll also see the same health status in the server's extension, summary, and inventory tabs. And finally, I can go back to our Dell workbook in Azure Monitor Insights. I observe an event indicating that the initial CPU issue has been resolved and the node state has now transitioned back to an up status. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short demo. This is another powerful example of how we've created a consistent hybrid management experience with Apex Cloud Platform for Azure using the Dell workbook in Azure Monitor Insights for Azure Stack HCI and our Apex Cloud Platform Foundation software integrations in Windows Admin Center. Thank you so much for watching.